Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this brand new series of RimWorld. We will be starting another colony after the previous one went rather disastrously in the last episode. If you haven't seen that yet, I would recommend you go and watch it. But in the meantime, this is what we are going to play with. So, I am playing with a couple of mods this time. Only three. Medieval times, it basically adds a whole bunch of medieval gear and also some medieval factions for you to fight against and different medieval buildings and the like. So I know I said I wasn't going to do a tribal game again, and I'm not. This is actually going to be a colony game because I want to have at least the opportunity to play with some of the more advanced technologies and stuff. And also it's just kind of slow and yeah, I just want to play with more stuff. However, I do have a bit of a theme, and I'll get to that in a minute. I'm also doing with prepare carefully, so I can actually prepare my own colonists, which I have done. I've actually spent several hours building my team, and again, that's going to be to a theme, a rather familiar theme, but a theme nonetheless. And then medical tab, just because it looks really useful. If you know of any other mods that you think I should look at in the future, please do let me know in the comments below. I've only briefly glanced through the ones available in the workshop, and these all seem to work. I did a very quick test game. So that is what I am playing with. Right, so what are we doing? Well, we are doing the Explorers of Vinland. Yes, we are going with the, oddly enough, Viking theme again, but you'll notice I haven't actually tweaked it as much as the Lost Vikings previously, and that's mostly because we have the Prepare Carefully, which I have tweaked again. So we'll be actually I should probably read through precisely what is going on here. So we are a colony, as I said. We're a small group of Vikings destined for great things. Well, destined for something anyway. We are going to be starting with malnutrition because we're doing the same kind of idea that we've arrived by ship, we got shipwrecked, etc. And we are starting with 100% chance that we are hungry. Makes sense, you've been on a long voyage. We're playing an intense playthrough, and we are doing the Vinland Map again. And we're leaving that the same size. Boom. Now, here is the Vinland map. Should be somewhat familiar to you now. I'm just going to sort this by elevation because you can see these icons a little more clearly. So over here, we have a red one. This is the Black Cutters. That's still a pirate band. So unfortunately, the Medieval Times mod doesn't remove modern stuff. Apparently the mod author is working on or thinking about working on a version in the future which does that, but as yet has not. However, the added medieval factions mean that you will have more medieval fights. For example, the Soldier's Pack, which is a medieval warband. We have over here at the plain Outlander Town, Trosma of Hawk tribe, Council of the Green Ox, a medieval society, and the Dentist's Estates, another medieval society. So we have a couple of medievals over here. So maybe we should play over on this side. That would be kind of interesting. Because we are coming from the west, from the east. So we would hit this coast. So let's go back to a full description. Let's zoom in a bit so I can actually see what's going on. And we're going to pick somewhere over here. I like playing up in the north. So maybe somewhere like this. Or maybe we should go inland a little bit so we can at least get some hills and things. Large hills, that sounds good. Marble, slate, I want some more granite, so I make some nice walls again. Sandstone and granite, that sounds perfect. Boreal forest, large hills. So we've gone inland a little bit, we've been wandering for a bit. We're going to play here. So prepare carefully. We are going to load the preset Vinland. Now, I've actually written a book based on Vinland, basically the voyages of Leif Erikson getting to the Americas. Hasn't been published, I'm still looking for that. But I've written it, and I do have a number of characters, 5 of which are featured here. The star of the story, of course, is Leif Erikson himself. He's quite a young man at this point, he's only 23, but he is something of a genius. Like he doesn't follow many of the brave, gonna kill you everything Viking society, but he is definitely a Viking. He's definitely a man of his time, and hopefully some of these stats reflect that. He is still quite young, so his skills are quite low, except for social. He's pretty outgoing. Yeah, I'll leave it. But he does have an interest in many things and a real interest in social. He's a natural leader and in research because he's a very, very intelligent young man. And he really is kind of, he's more of a cunning Viking rather than a bloodthirsty, going to kill you all Viking. Unlike his brother, Thorvald, who is a fighter. And you can see I'm playing with the Medieval Times mod because I do have them kitted out in appropriate gear. So Leif, being a young noble, has some pretty good stuff, and Thorvald, being a warrior, also does. He has very high melee because he's a born fighter, although he is brawler. He refuses to use ranged weapons. He considers them dishonorable, so he's not going to use them. He's quite social. He can get people doing their thing. He's also the older brother. I haven't actually tweaked that. He should be about that old. Of Leif. Yeah, that's right. And I should change their chronological age, but it took me ages just to get his down to 23, and you have to click individually for each time, so I'm just not going to bother. He has a couple of skills, but no real burning interest in anything except for smashing stuff. He's also got a bit of an interest in animal stuff because he likes hunting hounds, basically. He's a medieval lordling, and he is a warrior. He's not incapable of anything, but he is a brawler. He's iron-willed, so he's going to be very hard to break, and he's a bit of a pretty boy. Leif, on the other hand, is also iron-willed because he is super determined, and he's a hard worker. He just gets stuff done. Right, so next up we have Behrend, who is the berserker. He's actually a mute. He cannot talk. His throat was actually slit when he was younger, but he survived somehow, and he is now basically a berserker. He doesn't actually like hurting people. This is the funny thing. He doesn't actually like hurting people, but when he does, he really hurts them. And that is why he has such a high melee, and he's also a brawler. He does like building things. He's a bit of a gentle soul. He's kind of the gentle giant type thing. And he is pretty big, as you can see. He's a big man. He likes building stuff. He likes putting things together. He likes growing things. That's just what he likes doing. He also likes animals, though he has no real interest in promoting them. So he has a bit of an artistic soul, though he's terrible at it, poor guy. He likes crafting, and he really likes construction and hitting stuff when he needs to. Iva, the hermit. She's actually an outcast from this society, and Thorvald in particular will dislike her, and actually I should add that. Thorvald. No, you can't actually add dislikes. Yes, ex-lover would be kind of a similar thing. They weren't actually, they just don't like each other, so ex-lover I think will be acceptable. We'll see what modifiers that adds, but it should be a negative. Because she is a really, 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 really good shot with a bow. And I was thinking of using the careful aimer trait, but I didn't like the fact it makes her slower. She's just a really good archer, and it doesn't necessarily take her long to shoot. She's just a good archer, and I gave her the fast walker so she can actually do a bit of kiting. She's just a natural outdoors, and she's really good at shooting stuff. Well, she's not actually a medieval slave, but I just thought that was a appropriate thing. Her father was actually one of the best blacksmiths in Greenland, and she has a high crafting. She's growing just because she's interested in outdoorsy, but again, like Leif, she's quite young. She's only 19, but like I said, an amazing shot with the bow, which has put her at odds with Thorvald. Then finally, the last member of the party is Runtyr, who is actually a priest, but he's a wandering priest, so I thought that the scout explorer combination fit him the best. He's a priest of Tyr, and he's a very, very dedicated man at that. He's actually replaced his left hand, because the story of Tyr is basically Tyr put his hand in Fenrir's mouth, Fenrir being the wolf which guarded Hel, in order to keep the dog still, while Loki, I think it was? No, while Voland, the smith, put a chain round his neck to control the dog. And basically, the hound said, I'm only going to stand still if you're not actually going to hurt me. And the only way he could earn the trust is by someone putting their fist in his mouth. Tyr did put his fist in the dog's mouth. Dog got chained. He bit the god's hand off, and that is why Tyr has only one hand. Runtyr, being so dedicated a priest, has cut his hand off in honour of that, although he has put a scyther blade on it. The main reason he has a scyther blade is because he can't actually start with a missing limb, which is annoying. So a scyther blade seemed to be the weakest of the arm-related implants. It's only a hand, it's not the full arm, so that's what I decided to do. He's a bit older. He's a prostrophile, so he doesn't actually mind having stuff done to him. I mean, if his god's willing to lose bits of himself, then why shouldn't he? And he's an optimist. He sees the best in everything. And he is a bit older. He's a wanderer. He's wise. He's seen more of the world. He's not particularly passionate about anything there, but he's pretty good at most things. He's kind of an older version of Leif, though not as intelligent. So yeah, that is a breakdown of the party. And that is what we are going to play with. The next thing is I have tweaked our starting gear. So like I said, Thorvald is a bit of a huntsman. He likes his hunting hounds. I thought the best representation of that is wolves. They are tamed. We started with a couple of medieval longswords, which are better swords because the Vikings are pretty good smiths. And we are playing here with 2 young nobles, so again, appropriate. We have some battle axes and a longbow. We'll actually have a spare weapon, probably, depending on what Leif uses. We have some money, we have some wood, and we have some pemmican, just because it seemed to represent food that could be kept. Because I don't think we actually have the medieval times stuff in this list. This is only base game stuff, so pemmican's just the best representative of that. All right, let's get started. Generating the map here. And in the stories, there are many, many more characters. These just seemed 5 that seem to fit together and seem to have at least some of the skills required for RimWorld. It all begins with Leif Erikson and his crew of brave explorers. They had heard rumours that a land lay to the west of Greenland, but none knew for sure. The tale was confirmed when their ship ran aground in a thick fog. Forced ashore, they realised this is an entirely new land, completely uncharted by any from Europe. Something feels oddly different here, though. Because, you know, outer space stuff happens. Okay, so here we are. This is the land that we have chosen to start on. It's got some mountainy bits. Looking to see if there's any particularly fertile areas. It does not look like it. Oh yeah, there's some fertile stuff. Unfortunately, it's by the edge of the map again, which is irritating. But there are more areas where we could try and fortify ourselves. That is a lesson I have learnt, by the way, the hard way, is that you do actually want to build an enclosure. So probably here, with an entrance leading that way, potentially. Looking around, maybe we could build here. It'll give us more space for growing things. And it would allow us to dig into the mountains. Although actually, thinking about it, none of our people are particularly good miners. I will set up the work priority in a minute. I'm just thinking where I want to start. Unfortunately, there's a lot of marsh here, so we can't build on marsh. So our building opportunities are actually somewhat limited. I think I'm going to start in here and start building some farms down this way. And we could eventually close that off. Start here, then we have some more space. That's a better option. We're going to start here, and then we're going to have some more space to work with. Right. So we are going to start with 2 large structures. Ooh, fences. Fairly useless against attackers. Simple wooden gate to go with your wooden fencing. Okay, so that's additions from the medieval times mod. First up, I think we are going to do something like this. We're going to start here. So we have a little enclosure. It won't take us very long to work on that. And this is where we're going to sleep. This is like our keep, almost. I am, however, going to give orders to mine this out, so it's more room-shaped. Something like that. Okay. We can also get rid of those. Next thing I want to do is have a storage space. I think our storage is going to be here. So we'll do an 11 by... No, sorry, 12 by 12. Ah, that's a wall. No, door. 12 by 12. That looks good. And then we'll put 1. That seems off. Right, needs to be 13 by 13. So I'm going to get rid of that. 1 more that way, 1 more that way. And then that sits nicely in the middle. And we'll cancel that. And we will put a door here for now. We'll put 1 here and 1 here. Yeah, that looks pretty decent. And then this is going to be our stockpile. So here we are going to put a stockpile zone. Boomf. And then I also want to establish some growing zones. And these are going to be a little more outside. So maybe... So there was someone at the door and that's completely thrown my train of thought. What was I doing? Oh yeah, growing areas. Biggest priority for me, because that's the thing that always goes wrong, is heal root. I think I'm going to go with slightly smaller growing zones for people. For food is what I'm trying to say, not for people. You don't grow people. And then one larger one for the heal root, and hopefully it will survive. I think the heal root can be something like this. And then we'll have some smaller crop areas in here. Something like that. Oh, you haven't attached them. Cancel. No. Where is delete zones? There it is. Delete you. Delete you. Growing zone. What is he doing? That's not a problem I've had before. Usually you can't stack them next to each other. There we go. Maybe you actually have to select the things. Now they're all the same size. Right, so this one is going to be heal root. Alright, we'll deal with that in a minute. And then we are going to have some corn, because it actually lasts a really long time. It's rather good. And some strawberries. I should probably do some potatoes. I have one more here, which are potatoes. Okay, good. And actually thinking about it, because ultimately what I will want to do is have a wall here. So hopefully that's cancelled, that one, yeah, okay. So we've got a growing zone, we've got that, we've got those. We have those set up. We'll have some furniture and things when we are in there. Next, we need to unforbid this stuff, and we need to equip our people. So, Leif, you're an art, well, you're a bit of both. You're mostly a melee at the moment, so I'm going to give you one of the swords. Thorvald, I'll give the other sword, if I find it. There it is. Rontir can have an axe. Behrend can have the other axe. Ivar can have the bow. That should be everyone equipped. And the silver should also be unforbidden. Right, next thing. Work charts. Let's make everyone firefighting, patient, and bed rest, and flicking. Right, and then doctors. Our main doctor is going to be Rontir, followed by Thorvald. Really? 6? Yeah. Oh, wait. Messing around with the traits has reset them. Because I'm fairly sure... Oh, no. Medicine, passion. Oh, I did have a passion for crafting. Okay, my bad. I just forgot I did that. So, let's see. Wardening, that's going to be Leif's main thing. So these guys aren't bad at it. Make you a 3. We'll turn Thorvald off. I don't think I really need him to do it. Animal handling is probably going to be a Thorvald thing, though Behrend's not bad at it. Might be both as 2s. Cooking is going to be mostly Rontir. Although I think Leif will need to do some as well. Hunting, that's going to be clearly either, and only either. Construction is going to be mostly Behrend, but some of the others are not bad at it. We'll make Leif do it a bit, make Ivar do it a bit. In fact, basically everyone can do it except for Thorvald. So we'll have those priorities for construction. And then growing. Behrend's the main grower, followed by you. And that's it. Mining. Rontir's the main miner, followed by Behrend. That's probably fine. Plant cutting is basically everyone who does growing, plus anyone who doesn't have basically 0. Oops. 1. Yeah, that'll do. Leave you as a 3 so you can get some skill in it. And then crafting is definitely Ivar, basically for everything. You can be a 3. Take up some of the slack. And Behrend can also be a 3. In fact, Behrend's probably better at this than you are. Nope, apparently not. Rontir, and actually, we have a fair number of crafters. This is good. Hauling we'll leave as 2s. Cleaning can be a 3, and that's a 2. I think you're probably our only researcher. Yep, pretty much. Alright, this should get people moving. Dogs are getting it on already. Alright, hopefully this is enough to get us started. Because people did start the game hungry, that's going to mean things for food. So we're probably going to have to start hunting and gathering more or less immediately. We'll store everything there for the moment. Eventually I think I'll probably want an indoor food storage and preparation area. Just because when you're actually in a mountain it has better insulation, so it stays colder for longer. And also I want to get some walls up soon. Let's set this area to be devoid of wood. Likewise here. And any harvesting that can be done here, do that. And then the animals need to be taught training and obedience and hauling, all 3 of you. Oh, we'll try and tame you, and we'll hunt you and you. That should give us some early supplies. People are still just hauling at the moment, that is fine. Let's get things moving a bit faster. Wow, Rontir is a really slow miner. She's not a bad shot. What was I saying? And we'll hunt that as well. Okay, cool. And the next thing that we want probably is some beds in here. There are 5 of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll probably carve out rooms inside here so we can get this wall up. It's actually going to be a pretty decent defensive spot. And the stockpile is outside just because we'll be bringing stuff in. We may have like crafting stockpiles or something actually indoors, but that is not a vital thing right now. What are you doing? Cleaning. Really, there's nothing else for you to do, Thorvald? I guess there isn't. You can cut stuff. There you go, you can cut the wood. There you go. That's a better use of your time. Okay, roof goes up. We will need to get some light in there eventually. We'll need to remake some of those beds once we've actually started to get some better skills. But that is all to be expected, really. The next thing that I want to do is get a... Oh wow, there's a lot of new things. Blacksmiths, forges, smelters, stone hearth. Corpse bonfire. Okay. Gardening box, ice gathering station. Yeah, you can make like ice cubes and things with the medieval mod, which allows you to store things a bit better. Fueled generator, power switch. Oh, electricity is a thing. Yeah, I do need to build a workbench, but we start with electricity, which we don't start with. See, I'd actually intended to turn off the technologies, but I did not see a way of doing that. Because I still want to start like low tech. I am Vikings after all. But I didn't want to have the tech research penalties, I just wanted the no techs. If that makes sense. I thought that would have been one of the options in the tech start, because I know in the rich colonist thing you start with turret technology. And that's something you can actually toggle on or off. Oh well. Right, are we planting? We're planting. We're doing the strawberries first. Yeah, alright. Yes, what I was doing was I want a butcher table. Put one there. And then we want a fueled stove there. We'll need some steel. I did not start with any steel. Is that steel? No, that is sandstone. Where is some steel? What are you? Limestone, adobe, compacted steel. Let's mine that out. That's all sandstone. There's some steel up there and some around there. Okay. Right, so we have our enclosures. Building the various structures that we need. Butchering table, let's add a bill. Butcher creature forever. And we do, in fact, need to place some stools so our people can sit down while they're working. Marvellous. Where are you off to? You are butchering. Okay. And I think I do want some torches. I'm going to go low tech until I have a reason to go high tech. Looks like we need 2 torches. Okay, we have some meat. Now we just need the fueled stove. What do you need for the hearth? Stone hearth. You need 75 stone blocks. Yeah, we don't have any of those. Alright, and then the final thing that I think we need in this central room before we start expanding on it is production. No. Whisk. No. Thought it would be production. It is production. Simple research bench. We need one of those. And we need a chair. And that will do for now. Right, the other thing that we do need, actually, are more sleeping spots. Which can go there. And that is going to be the end of this episode, so thank you very much for watching. If you're enjoying this series, then please do hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, please do consider subscribing as well. I should make a note, actually, going forwards, any new members that join the colony will be open to subscribers. I just wanted the initial 5 to be named because I had a kind of a storyline behind each. But going forwards, please do put names or whatever in the comment section if you want someone named after you going in the future. That's where to put them. I'll make a list and I will assign you first come first serve, basically. So, cool. Thanks again for watching and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.